What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing another video with the GTO. We're trying to get this thing ready for tuning. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and get the pulley that we want to put on it. We're going with the ZPE Griptec 2.7 pulley. It's going to be a big step down from what is on it, which I will show you guys in a little bit. We're also going to go ahead and throw a 3-bar map sensor in this thing because currently it was set up for NA in the other car we had this motor in. So we're getting everything ready for boost. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to go back on the channel and check out the GTO playlist. We've got just about everything we've done to that car on that playlist. The full rear suspension, front suspension, the engine, transmission, interior, pretty much everything you can think of with the GTO we've got on that playlist. So make sure to go check that out. Also, while you're there, think about hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell. That way you get notified anytime we post a video with the GTO, the Duramax, or the Hellcat. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Alright guys, so we just came out here and moved a few things. We're going to go ahead and get this thing turned around so that hopefully tomorrow, when it's supposed to be raining pretty good, we can still work on this thing and go ahead and try to get the Procharger pulley swapped out with the Griptec. So let's go ahead and get this thing fired up and turn it around. Alright guys, so we got the car turned around. I'm going to go ahead and show you the pulley we went with. It's a Griptec from ZPE. We went with the 270. It's a really nice looking piece. It's supposed to basically eliminate slip. It's got like a laser etch process they do on the ribs here. It's really nice. I mean, it looks sweet. So we'll go ahead and get the tools together we need to swap this thing out. And then we also got a 3-bar Chevrolet Performance map sensor from BTR. So we can go ahead and pop the old one out of the manifold and pop this one in. So we'll get that done at the same time. The pulley came with a new bolt and then the bolts that hold it to the hub, which is one of the reasons I went with this pulley. A, I couldn't find a 270 anywhere else, and B, I really like the hub design. So if like this one makes too much boost or whatever, we can just unbolt it here and then swap another ZPE pulley onto this hub. So that'll be really nice. So let's go ahead and get some tools together and head out to the car. Alright guys, so now that we're out here at the car, we've got some tools together. First thing we're going to do is try to break this nut or this bolt here free on the front of the Procharger, and then we'll work our way right through the process here. We grabbed this wrench and a hammer and we just ended up tapping it here, so we got that to break free. So now that we've got that on its way out, we're going to go ahead and back off the bolts that we need for the tensioner here. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this one here, which is a 9/16, and then the one back here, I believe it's 14 millimeter. I'm sure it's probably the American equivalent of that, but we have a 14 narrow wrench here. super narrow wrench, which is going to be perfect for that location. And then we're also going to have to break free the 3/4 bolt on the end of the tensioner right here. We're just going to break it free just enough for this to be able to swivel when we move these around. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up for that, and we'll pop that free. Now we can go ahead, break this one free. Make me break. That one should be free. Yeah, that one's free. So now we're gonna go ahead and grab our 3/4 and see if we can't get on the end of the tensioner here. I think I got it. Alright guys, so we've got pretty much everything broken free. Not sure if you can see it down in here, but there's a bolt right in the center of this tensioner right here. We had to break that one free. We broke these two free, and then the little guy back hidden down in there we broke free. This one's now broken free, so we're gonna go ahead and back off on this adjustment nut right here, and it will back off on our tensioner. Then we can finish taking the bolt out of the Procharger pulley here. And when you do that, you want to be careful. We can take the bolt out, but don't slide your pulley off yet because there's a keyway in there. So I'm going to try to take the bolt out, take this the centering washer off of here, and then we'll see where our keyway lands so that we can get our hand under it or something, or try to get the key facing up so we can slide it off so it doesn't fall on the ground. So that's what I'm going to do next, and we'll see if we can get this pulley off of here without dropping anything. There goes that bolt and washer. So when you take this off, you'll notice that this piece faces in. That's to center your pulley on the shaft basically, and then your bolt will center this, and that centers the pulley. So we're going to save that. Then we want to see where our keyway is. I have mine facing the 12 o'clock position.
Pull out on it. Move your fingers. Got it.
Don't use the key.
The keys.
Alright guys, so now you can see that we've got the pulley off and our keyway. This is that key I was talking about. Just slides in here and into your pulley to keep it from spinning. Basically the same thing as pinning your crank, same idea. Then we've got our tensioner all backed off and loose, so that moves around freely now. Now we're gonna go ahead and head over to the garage quick. I'll show you guys the difference between this pulley and the new one, and it's a pretty big difference. And then we'll bring that new pulley over here and try to get the hub and everything on. So let's go ahead and go grab it. Alright guys, so here are the two pulleys next to each other. I wasn't joking when I said it's a big difference. This one's a 4.3, that's what came on our Procharger. If you guys follow the channel, you know that I got that Procharger from one of our buddies. And I'm guessing that he never took the factory pulley off it, because like I said, it's a 413. And then we're going to the Griptec 270. Huge jump down, should be a lot more boost. We're going to see what we can do with this little stock bottom end LS2. So it comes with the hardware. The only thing that the ZPE does not come with is this washer, the centering washer, but it fits perfectly. And then it also does not come with a new key, at least not that I've seen so far. I double checked just to be positive that everything fit right. And then you can get the Procharger pulleys from Procharger or ZPE, anybody that makes them, in different offsets. Now you can see ours has the 2 ribs just like this one does. or the two lips, I should say, not ribs, on each side here. And then it's got a little bit of a step right here, and then the same step right here. So this is considered a standard pulley according to Procharger. So that's what I went ahead and ordered when I ordered our one from Griptec. So it should be the same offset. So let's go ahead and bring it on over to the car and see if we can't get this thing on. All right, guys, we're gonna try something here. We had a couple extra lawnmower belts and compressor belts laying around. So we're gonna try holding this like this, and then these little bolts, you put some blue Loctite on them, and Griptec says 6 to 7 foot-pounds, so that's what we're gonna do. We can't get a torque wrench in here, so we're gonna try to torque those little guys out here, and then the main bolt is supposed to be 60 foot-pounds for the D1SC, but again, we can't get a torque wrench in there, so I'm gonna give it maybe like 2 ugga-duggas. But let's go ahead and see if we can't get some Loctite on these and tighten these ones up, and then put it on the car. All right, we've got our torque wrench set at 7 foot-pounds. We're gonna see if we can't hold this thing. Shouldn't be terrible, but we're doing a star pattern. All right, that's 7 foot-pounds. So we're gonna get ready to slide our pulley on. I'm gonna try to get the key. And then like that. And then the Griptec pulley came with a shorter bolt, but we're gonna have to reuse our centering washer. I'm gonna go ahead and put some Loctite on the new bolt. Gonna want to put our centering washer. On these GTOs, it's a pretty tight fit. This pulley fits a lot better than that big one did, but still tight. Make sure your washer sits in there flat and is doing its job. Alright guys, so right here I completely forgot to mention it to the camera, but you can see I'm messing around with something, and what I am doing is taking the old belt and wrapping it around the new pulley so that we have something to hold on to while we are tightening this pulley up. It just feels like 60. Click. Alright guys, so we've got the new pulley on. Got it at about 60 foot-pounds. Like I said, in the GTO platform you can't get one in there. I'm sure in other platforms you can, but that's on there how it should be. Everything seems good. The only thing we've got to figure out now is our belt size. Going from the 413 pulley down to this 270 pulley, it's a huge difference in belt size. So we obviously can't run the tensioner like that. So we're gonna have to figure something out here. I think what we're gonna do is try to use a string to cut it to length for like our new routing, and then we'll measure the string. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and get some 6-rib, like cheap, just AutoZone, like cheap belts, so we can get a few different sizes. Come back here, test fit them, and then when we find one that is the proper length, then I'll go ahead and order the expensive 8-rib like green belt, or one of those decent belts. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna see what we've got to do to try to measure for this thing, and then we'll take you guys for a ride and see if we can't go find some belts. All right guys, so like I said, we went down to our local auto parts store. It's Big A, and we told them what we were doing. We came up with a number of the size of the belt that we want to try, so we went ahead and grabbed 3. These ones are 6-rib belts because that's just what they had in stock and the most variety of. So we grabbed these sizes in a 6 rib. We're gonna see which one fits the best, and then when we can figure out what size belt we want, we'll go ahead and bring these back, and he'll order us up a 8 rib, probably either a Gates green belt or a Gatorback belt, something decent. But for fitment purposes, we're gonna go ahead and use these 6 ribs. We're gonna go out to the car and see if we can get one of these to fit how we want it. All right guys, so we went ahead and figured out that this is the belt that fits best for us. Obviously we could have jumped around and gotten some more sizes, tried to narrow it down some more, but I think we might have just gotten lucky with our 3 first picks here. That biggest one actually seems to fit really nicely. Like I had mentioned, it's only a 6 rib belt, so that's why it's missing here, but for size purposes this is going to work perfect. So looking at this, I've got the tensioner ran down roughly where I want it to be, and I'm pretty happy with it. This one, like I said, is a 1359 millimeters, so I think that's what we're gonna go ahead and order for the 8 rib. It's around the crank, and we've got it pretty decent wrap. Not sure if you guys can see that, but almost, I'd say almost 3/4 wrap around this pulley, which is really good. So that's so that's working out for us. So let's go ahead and get basically this same size belt, but in an 8 rib Gates RPM belt, and then we'll go get that. We'll get back here, slap that one on, and I think it'll be just about ready to fire up and see if you can hear a difference with this new pulley. We ended up going and trying to find that Gates RPM belt that I had told you guys about. As you can see, I've got a green belt in my hand, which is the Gates HD belt. So we went to an advanced. I tried to order this part number, but with the RPM at the end. They said that they had it coming, they'd have it the next day. I went to pick it up. It was just a regular belt. It wasn't an HD, it wasn't an RPM. So I called Gates to verify that RPM would have RPM on the belt. So I was right, it was the wrong belt. So we ended up returning that. When I talked to Gates, I asked them about the RPM belt, and they told me that it was on a national back order, and that my best bet for now would be to go with the HD belt. So that's what we're going with. We used to run this belt on the Hellcat back in the day. Now we obviously run the RPM belts, but we're gonna have to go ahead and run this belt for today and see how it does. These definitely do wear out pretty quick, and they have a lot of stretch to them, but they bite good. So we're gonna try it, see what happens. Hopefully our tensioner has enough throw on it. So let's go ahead and get this thing thrown on. To put it on, we're gonna literally do the same stuff that I showed you guys how to take it off. We're just literally gonna reverse the steps. We've got everything still loose here. So while everything's loose, we're gonna go ahead and throw it on, and then we'll start tightening everything down. So we went ahead and slapped the belt on. We've got it routed. Now we've still got all of our bolts slightly loose so that this can move around as we want it to. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab the socket to put on this one right here. That's your tensioning nut. It's gonna put spring tension onto the actual tensioner. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that socket, and we'll start going with that. You can see down in here that there's some notches. There's a couple up here. There's one on this body right there. That's gonna be the one that moves to align with our other notches here, and it'll tell you about how much spring tension you have. So let me get the socket and start getting this thing close, and I'll show you what I mean. All right guys, not sure if you can see all those marks, but as you start to tension the belt, that mark on the inner body of the tensioner is going to start coming up. So I'm going to set it right around there. Belt feels, oh, that belt feels super tight. So we're going to set it about there, and we'll start tightening up all of our other bolts. All right guys, so after we got the belt tensioned how we want it, that thing's nice and tight, we went ahead and tightened up this nut, the bolt in the front of the tensioner here, that nut back there, or bolt back there, and I think that was pretty much it. So now we've got it rolled back a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and fire this thing up. It's pretty incredible how much smaller this pulley is. We had that 413 on here before, and I swear it came up, it blocked some of the Procharger, the name over here, so it was a lot bigger. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to fire this thing up and see how it sounds now. Actually, I know exactly what it is. It's because we have that mass airflow sensor out of there. Alright guys, so it's been a few days since the last clip you've seen there where we tried to start it and it would start up and shut off. Well, that was completely my fault. I completely spaced that we deleted the mass airflow sensor, and we also changed from a 1-bar to a 3-bar map sensor. So we didn't flash the tune to it, so it would just start up, the computer didn't know what was going on, and it would shut back off. So now that we've got a chance to go ahead and flash a proper tune into this thing, let's go ahead and set up and we will try firing this thing up again. We did make a few changes since the last time, the last clips that we took there. I did go ahead and put the intake pipe on it with a filter, and a couple other little things here. I don't think I mentioned earlier in the video, guys, that we are overdriving this D1SC by quite a bit. We're spinning this thing really hard. I think the max RPM on these D1SC blowers is around 62,000 RPM. Well, we are going to be spinning it a lot faster than that with this little 270 pulley on it. Yes, it's not recommended. It might make more heat than boost, but you guys are just gonna have to stick around for an upcoming video where we take this thing out on the street and dial in the tune and see if it makes boost or if it makes heat. So let's go ahead and start this thing up. Definitely tell that this thing is spinning a lot harder with that little pulley on it. Even sitting here at an idle, you can hear the blower. It's a lot louder. It sounds pretty cool. I can't wait to see what it sounds like out on the street, but let's go ahead and shut this thing down for now. Alright guys, so that's how you change the pulley on your Procharger to a Griptec pulley and hub. I really like this design because you can just pull these little Allen head bolts and swap the pulley if you want to get a few different sizes to have around for different boost levels. I really like that. As I mentioned before, we are spinning this little blower way faster than it's recommended to spin. I do not recommend you guys doing that, so I will leave an equation in the description below so you guys can figure out how fast you're spinning your blower and what size pulley you can safely run. This thing is ready for the street. We're finally ready to get it out and do some street pulls and some tuning on this thing. I cannot wait. This thing is gonna fly. So make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. That way you guys get notified when we post those videos. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.